I want to talk a little bit about the Mart Panthers because I feel like they deserve our attention. They absolutely pummeled Marlin 41-6. I mean, none of us really saw that one coming. I think we all ended up going with Mart, but certainly expected a closer game. So I heard that Marlin may have had some kids out for this game, but still, that's a pretty big statement win for Mart, which, rolls up statement wins like, they're breathing oxygen or something. But so, considering Marlin made, a win away from Jerry World last year, when you take that into account. So is this just kind of another case of Mart reloading for another run?
I think within the context of all of high school football in Texas, there are teams and programs that can get on a run for part of a year and have a good year and really get your attention. And then there are schools that expect to win every time they step on the field every year. And I think Mart is one of those schools. I mean, they're kind of like, you could put maybe like Austin Westlake in that category. And, just going around, La Vega is in that category. Some others in Central Texas that you could name, but it's just a different atmosphere and feeling among those schools. And, Marlin, yeah, they had a great year last year, but I think Mart kind of has the kind of flex where they're like, okay, great, we're still Mart and we still think we can beat you. And they went out and did. And it's honestly, I picked Mart. It's maybe the way the game turned out isn't that surprising, but I mean, I'm never it'll be a long time before I forget, like last year going out to the Mart Chilton game. Chilton was having a heck of a year, and I had made the mistake of, suggesting that Chilton could give Mart a game.
Yeah.
And all the Mart people were like very frustrated and agitated with me for suggesting the mere possibility that Chilton might give them a competitive district game.
Yeah. That's the aloofness that comes with being Mart. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying that they're like cocky and can't back it up. Obviously they can back it up, but
swagger is as swagger does.
There you go. DJ, what do you think?
I was supposed to cover that game, remember?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think going back to the first question, I would have liked to have covered that game. Mm-hmm. It was my second choice after Conine La Vega, but I mean, I don't know much about Mart other than the fact that they have a good football team.
Yeah.
Like every time I have to drive through Mart when I go visit my family or when I come back from visiting my family, I always have to drive through there. And it's like, you see their little sign with all of their state championships. And it's like, it's an expectation now. It's like death taxes in Mart making state championships, So I think it would have been a really exciting game to cover had I been there, even though they did beat Marlin. And talking to Coach Ruben last week, I know he kind of I wouldn't say he wasn't expecting to win, but I think he kind of was going into that game with the knowledge that it wasn't going to be an easy game to play. Yeah. So,
yeah, I think you both make some really good points. DJ, the point about, you mentioning what else is there in Mart really besides football. I think people have been saying that in Central Texas for years, because if you go into Mart, here you have this town that it's had a lot of economic problems. They have 8 jillion potholes in Mart. They need some road work for sure. And I'm not saying there's not good people in Mart or good business or whatever, but they did away with their police force a couple years ago, and now they have to outsource that. But man, football is like one of those things that they can hold on to as being, theirs. and something to be proud of. I've been rereading Friday Night Lights. I had finished a book, and I didn't have like a new book to read yet. And so, I mean, I kind of always need a book to read. Since Chad was going to Permian last week, I just was sort of like in the mood to go back to Friday Night Lights. And it's very much that way in Odessa. You know, here you have this dusty old oil town, but man, they have Permian football. We can hang our hat on that. So I think that's a really good point. They are proud of their football in Mart, Texas. And then the point that Chad made about just expecting to win. Last year, Marlin makes the state semifinals. They might as well, you know, have thrown a parade. You know, it was the first time in 20 years. Now, I don't feel like Ruben Torres and his coaching staff are viewing it like this is all there is. But at the same time, that was this historic breakthrough. Meanwhile, Mart making the state semifinals, that's like a disappointment. I mean, that's the difference in standard between these two programs. And you can only build that over time and a lot of winning. And Mart's done that. So
Absolutely.